$150. The necklace is $150. Yes, this necklace, this precious handmade necklace that I made with these two hands, $150. And I kind of like held my breath, but like kept eye contact and didn't flinch so that she wouldn't know that I was like faking it till I made it. But really faith in it. Now I say faithing it till I make it. And she handed over $150. $150. Can you guys hear that? You guys hear? You hear what I'm hearing? No, I didn't think so, because it's quiet. My kids are sleeping. My name is Erica, and I am a joy strategist. And what that means is that I help women in transitional phases of life, in schooling, parenting, and career, find joy and healing in what's next. One feel-good thing at a time. And I'm super stoked about today's conversation because I feel like it's one that is generally needed, but especially right now, given all of the craziness that's happening in the world, here in America, overseas in Nigeria, like everywhere. We all have power, you know, to create the life that we want. And the time to start living and creating and curating and making that life is now. Not tomorrow, not next month, not a year from now, but right now. And I want to share a couple of ways that you could potentially start doing that if you feel as though you want to, but you're not sure that you have the tools, the resources, the energy, the time, and all the other things that we usually get bogged down in thinking about that we don't have, when we really have everything that we need right now in the space that we're in. Just generally thinking about like combating fear and panic and the need to do stuff quickly and urgently just for the sake of getting stuff done. Everyone is kind of just trying to grab onto the first thing that they can do rather than really taking this time to think of what it is that they actually want to do with their life, what they actually want to create with their life, and recognizing that all the things that are needed to do that are accessible to them right now. So if you feel as though you're one of those people, please stay tuned. And if you feel as though you know somebody that may feel this, please share this video with them. Coming into this space of becoming a joy strategist really came from a place of being there at one point, feeling like I needed and wanted to do things at multiple transitional phases in my life. As a student graduating from college and then going into the workforce and recognizing that I didn't want to work behind a desk for the rest of my life. I felt like when I was doing it, I was dying a slow death. I absolutely hated it. Every single day I would go to work, I would cry. I would go to the bathroom and I would take half-hour-long bathroom breaks and I would sit there and I would cry. And then I'd go back to my desk and I'd dry my face and then I'd sit there thinking about wanting to cry, which would then cause me to want to go back to the bathroom and I'd cry some more. On my lunch break, I would cry. After work, I would call my boyfriend and cry. At one point, he was just like, girl, I mean, I'm sure he said it with love. He was probably feeling it. What do you want to do? Like, what is it that you really want to do with your life? And I was like, I want to do everything. And so at that point, I started to do everything because, I mean, I had nothing to lose. I felt lost. I felt confused. I was so capable and so creative, but the space where I wasn't taking advantage of it. I was sitting behind a desk doing things like cleaning out file cabinets and what else did they have me doing? Like updating spreadsheets. And if y'all don't know me, let me tell you, I hate math. Spreadsheets are not my friend. Well, now they are, because I've cultivated that spirit of organization, because God is not a God of chaos. And I've learned that, you know, spreadsheets can be pretty helpful. So anyway, they had me doing all this stuff that I hated, and I just felt like I wasn't living my best life. So when he asked me this, I got real clear on what it was that I wanted. What I wanted was to live a life of creativity. I wanted to live a life in color. I wanted to create. I wanted to be around art. I wanted to be around interesting people my age. I wanted to be around thinkers and people who wanted to better the world by utilizing their gifts and their talents. And so at some point, I decided to quit my job, even though I didn't have one really lined up. I took a part-time job working at a boutique in Soho, in New York City. So I stopped working in New Jersey. And I did just that. I surrounded myself with creative people. I started to see the city from a different perspective, not as someone going in and coming out, but someone really like putting myself in a situation where anything and everything could happen. And when I tell you guys, I disrupted my life in a way that kind of like shocked me awake, that was exactly what was needed in the time. And once I made that choice, life kind of opened up for me in a whole other way. So the job that was part-time, and it wasn't anything fancy, it was doing retail. I was hired as a sales associate. Then I was quickly promoted. Like within the company, I became a key holder, and then after a key holder, I became an assistant manager, and then I was sent to be to run my own store, because they had at that time like 4 or 5 locations within Manhattan. And so then I was sent to go run the NoHo branch, which was Nolita. Not NoHo, Nolita. Even in that space where I wasn't really doing exactly what it was that I wanted to do, because again, I felt lost and confused. I wasn't completely sure of what I wanted to do, but I just knew I didn't want to be behind a desk. I learned so much in that space of working in retail, but not only that, I started to sell my jewelry there, because what I forgot to mention is that once I left the job that I hated, I got back into things that I enjoyed when I was younger. I should also mention, I'm a jewelry designer. I've been designing jewelry since I was 13. And one day I was wearing my jewelry in the boutique, and someone saw one of my pieces on my neck that I happened to be wearing because I had just finished it. So I had to show it off a little bit. And what the person was like, "Oh my goodness, I love your necklace." They talk like this in New York sometimes. She was like, "Oh my goodness, I love your necklace." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. This whole thing, I made it." And she was like, "Oh my goodness, do you sell them here?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, would you sell it to me?" And I was like, "I guess." And she was like, "How much for?" Now, little old me, I'm not making jewelry to sell. I'm just making jewelry for myself because I hate all the stuff I see in stores, and I want something that reflects my personality a little bit. So I made up a number based on the stuff that was around me in the store. If they're selling shirts for $60 and an accessory is something that you can wear every day, I just, bumped the price up a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is handmade. It took a really long time to make, and I was explaining all this stuff. And I was like, basically, it was $150. The necklace is $150. Yes, this necklace, this precious handmade necklace that I made with these 2 hands, $150. And I kind of like held my breath, but like kept eye contact and didn't flinch so that she wouldn't know that I was like faking it till I made it. But really faithing it. Now I say faithing it till I make it. And she handed over $150. $150, just like that. And I was like, oh, this is a thing? This is like, people like my stuff. Mind you, it was just the one person. So after that, I was inspired. I was like, okay, so maybe I should be selling my stuff at the store. And that's what happened. I started selling my stuff at the boutique. And when I tell you that one incident was kind of like a mind flip for me, in recognizing that whatever it is that you want to create, you can create. You just have to decide what that thing is. You have to do it, and you have to commit to it. And from then I went on to create a whole elaborate vision. I'm a multi-passionate creative, so I do a lot of things. But at one point, after being at the store for a while, I was like, you know what, this jewelry designing thing is working, because at that point I was now selling my jewelry in a couple of their boutiques and a couple of other boutiques between New Jersey and New York. And I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to be a VJ. I've always wanted to be on the 106 in Park couch, but obviously I'm not on 106 in Park right now, but how could I get on 106 in Park? And so I decided that I was going to start doing on the street interviews, and I did that for a number of years. And after that, I learned so much in the process, not because someone was handing me an opportunity, but because I wanted to I created those opportunities for myself. Again, this is one of those incidences where I didn't know what it was that I wanted to do, but I just knew that I wanted to do something. And I got very clear on what it was that I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. More importantly, the why than exactly what, because that's where faith comes in. You may not always have the answers. You may not always know what it is that you want to do exactly, and you may not exactly know what's needed to get there, but what you do know is that you feel a desire in your heart to do that thing. And let me tell you what that is. It's not just called your gut feeling. It's not just called what is the word that starts with an I? Intuition. It's not just intuition. That is the spirit. That's the Holy Spirit within you that is trying to align you with your purpose in some way, shape, or form. So you need to recognize that whatever that itching is that you have in your soul, whatever that itching is that you have in your spirit, that serves a purpose. And that purpose is your purpose. And let me tell you why it's so important to move in your purpose. Because we've all been gifted to do amazing and wonderful things. We've all been given divine and innate gifts that we are meant to use to bless the world. But not only bless the world, serve the world. Like, when I tell you guys this journey, and when I say journey, I always say it with a J-O-Y, because it's all about finding and living in your joy, okay? I live faith-fueled and purpose-propelled. And the reason why is because joy is found in both of those things. You don't exactly need to know, you don't need to know all the details. All you need to do is start. And the best time to start is today. The reason why is because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Do y'all see the craziness that is happening in this world right now? Do you see it? Do you feel it? Do you understand the fear that is being cultivated by the messery of this world? But just because all of the mess is happening around us does not mean that we have to give into it. We have to live in our joy. It's our duty. It's our responsibility, because we can't control what's going on out there or what's going to happen. All we can control is what we bring to the situation and what we bring to the world. And if we're going to be bringing anything, it needs to be the good stuff, okay? Not only for everybody else, but for yourself. Living in your joy, living your purpose, living by faith is a form of self-care that cannot be taken away from you unless you decide to give it away, okay? Like, don't let the world, the fear, the circumstances, the situations rob you of the one thing that you are supposed to be doing. In the Bible, it's biblical. 1 Thessalonians 5:16, I think it is, right? Be joyful always. Like, be joyful always. By prayer and thanksgiving, and like, lay down, petition, surrender all of your things to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than this is. Now I'm mixing scriptures, but basically our job, and there's so many scriptures in Romans. Look at Romans 8, Romans 12, that tell us that joy, utilizing our gifts and living in our purpose is like literally the one thing that we're supposed to do. Now, because God knows us and He's created us to do things based on how He's created us and crafted us, each person has a different gift, okay? And each person uses it in a different way. But what's most important is that we recognize the value of the gifts that we've been given, okay? Recognize the value of the gift that you've been given. Whatever that gift is. If you're a singer, you're a painter, you're a mathematician, you're a strategist of sorts, like you're a writer, whatever that gift is, use it. One, because it's connected to your joy, but two, because you don't know how that gift will bless somebody and put them on the path for living in their joy and their purpose. Do you recognize how beautiful the world would be? How much different the world would look if everybody lived in their joy and their purpose? Pew. Like, the world would be a completely different place. But it starts with you. And you inspiring other people by simply, again, doing what you do best to get them on the path of recognizing their need to do what they do best and also what makes them feel good. So I wanted to give you the tips. I'm sorry, I got off track. 3 things that you can do to put you on track for living in your joy today and getting real clear about the type of life that you want is 1, make a decision. A decision, any decision. It doesn't have to be like picture perfect in what it is that you think you want to do, but start somewhere. That is step 1. Start somewhere. Simply start somewhere. Write a list of things that you've always wanted to do and you haven't been able to do. Now is the perfect time. You're in the middle of a pandemic. You're supposed to be quarantining, so you really shouldn't be going nowhere anyway. You got the time, okay? And if you don't have the time, make the time, because it's really important. The second thing you can do is read a book. Read a book and find examples of people who have done something that you are interested in pursuing. Because while you don't always have the answers and you may not have the full picture, at some point they also were in the same position and they figured it out. So you don't have to start from scratch because you have an example. Look to your examples, study their lives, see what path they took and if you have access to any of those things. And right now, let me tell you, you do have access to the things because you got the internet, okay? You can figure whatever else you need to figure out thanks to your University of YouTube. That's what I call it, okay? The third and final thing that you can do is take the Joy Quest. So for those of you who don't know, I do have a program that I've created that's 45 minutes to an hour, and it's called the Joy Quest. It takes you on a path to figuring out what brings you your joy, and also how you can create a habit of living in your joy every single day. But most importantly, it helps you get real clear about many things that bring you joy, so you can figure out how your joy actually aligns with your purpose, okay? Because joy is what puts you on path for your purpose. And those are things that's something that's available to you all the time. But in addition to that, I wanted to get on here and share that next week I am starting 2 programs with the Live Rich movement that I'm really excited about. The first one being our November challenge. Our next November challenge for LRM challenges is 21 days. And this month, or next month, the theme is Abundance by Gratitude. Abundance by Gratitude. Why? Because we are entering the holiday season. And this tends to be the season where everyone thinks about what they don't have rather than giving thanks for what they do have, and how it can put them on path for living and creating the life that they ultimately really want. And in addition to this, it's a financial and gratitude challenge. And then the second thing that we're starting up next month on the same day, 11/1, because 111 is a thing for me. If you know, you know. Okay. On November 1st, we're also starting our next round of the Vision Casting Living in Purpose on Purpose workshop. It is a 6-week workshop that I've created to help people take the joy that they've come to understand and recognize from the Joy Quest and build on it, and actually propelling their purpose forward. Now that you know what brings you joy, and now you think you may know what your purpose may be, how do you actually align yourself with that every single day, building a strategy so that you can implement those steps, tips, and tricks to live a more purpose-propelled life on a daily basis. I want to show you guys my vision board for this year. Oh, you also create a vision board. That's a part of the process. At the end of the 6 weeks, you end up with a full-blown, beautiful vision board. And I'm going to show you mine now. But first, can we get into these results, okay? Day 18 of 75 hard. I'm feeling real good, y'all. But look at this. All the bloat is gone, and I'm not even sucking in. And I see a little roundage happening here. Also, Waistbeads are by me. Oh, because I still make jewelry, in case you were wondering. Oh, my earrings are by me too. And those are also available on the site. I'm getting distracted again. Vision board, one moment. This is my 2020 vision board, and it is by faith. That's my theme for the year. And in the inside, I have my visuals for the strategy to get to what it is that I ultimately want this year, and being clear about the life that I want for myself. Self-care and health and wellness. Over here, we're tackling relationships, we talking love, we talking family, okay? And over here is the Go Ham section, which details business endeavors and so much more. And let me tell you guys, people think that vision boards are just like pretty pictures, but when I tell you how many things have actually taken place that are on this vision board this year, it's crazy. In the middle of a pandemic, okay? It's real. You definitely want to get into it. And if you're interested in joining, then you can head over to the site and you can do that as well. I'd love to go on and on chatting about all the wonderful things that can be created when you cultivate a life of joy and purpose. But I'd really love to hear from you guys and why you feel it's important to live a life of joy, and also what you're doing to create it. How are you getting clear about the life that you want? What are the steps that you are taking on a daily basis to manifest it? And if you're not taking those steps, how are you feeling about where you're at? Okay, like let's get real clear. How are you feeling about where you currently are? Because if the answer is not great, just know that you have the power to create whatever it is that you want. But first, you have to get clear on what you want. Okay? That's all I got for y'all for this faith-fueled, purpose-propelled chat. I hope that it's helped you in some way. I hope that it's blessed you. If you want some inspiration from other people who have lived in creating the vision that they want for themselves, head over to the link in my bio and you can check out the podcast as well. I have so many things that I'm like directing you towards right now, but it's because It's my life's mission, okay? Everybody enjoy, okay? Everybody on a journey to purpose. Because life, as we know it, will change once more people start to. I hope that you guys have a blessed and wonderful day, and that you make it a faith-fueled day, even though it's almost over here, a purpose-propelled day, and that you do something that brings you joy today. All right, until the next time, live rich and happy dream chasing. Bye. Oh, and share this with a friend. Share it with a friend.